Oh, shit.
Now recording. Thanks, bud. Thanks for coming back. Man. Hey, party people. Welcome back. This is going to be episode 9B, which means 2 weeks from now, we're going to be recording the 10th episode for each side of the split, which is pretty cool. We're excited about that. Really quick, if you haven't found us on Twitter or Instagram yet, we are there. You can follow us. And if you listen to us on YouTube, if that's your preferred way of listening to us, then go ahead and give us a follow. And if you really like what you hear, give us a thumbs up or a review on any platform that you're listening to us on. We would really, really appreciate it. It would help us out tremendously and go quite a way. Wow, I just sped right through that.
Right?
Yeah. We're going to be going through the recap in a moment, and then it's going to be back into kind of like a short touch on where we left off, because the recaps are kind of more thematic and like just there for storytelling purposes, while the chunk that comes after it is actually catching the players up on where we left off last week. So that's going to happen, and then it's all going to be up to the players. So, Seeler, 33rd of Stivos, 301st year of Darkreign, 4 days before Darkreign, nearing sunrise. Faith came in many forms: radical, fledgling, seasoned, innocent, passionate. There were no qualifications, no hard lines, nothing that confined an individual to one category. Hells and heavens, the zealots came in all shapes and sizes. Some bore wings or barbed tails. Others bore scars and scarred brands. It was curious whether Tamacti had been willing to trade his life for Rubin's, or if that was just for show. Did Moriel know the truth? Could he tell the difference? Out of one service, and finally into another. Gabriel and Rubin were in the presence of a seraph now. In raising his hand against Kuril, Rubin had done the Lord Tormach a favor, but not one worth keeping him around. Tormach had no use for someone that would choose their allies over their worshipping kin. So the fiery lord healed his injured Rubin one last time, and finally he warned him that Starsinker was never his in the first place. It was Kuril's and would now crumble to dust. Only they and Weasel knew the fate of Thorgrim. Perhaps they'd stuff that secret deep down, never to surface again. Time would tell. Time told all things. Crow knew that. We pick up with you guys. It is nearing sunrise, probably about 5-6 a.m., and you guys had just sort of had a get-together with the scouts just outside of the city of Castelor, but also just outside of the opening where all of the Northmen are kind of licking their wounds, gathering their dead, gathering their wounded, healing, that kind of stuff. And so the scouts gathered just in the woods outside of that clearing with you guys, and you spoke, and Tamacti shared words that Thorgrim had died a hero, that the raid had clearly failed, as they knew, and that the scouts were to be dispersed to tell the merchants of Thorgrim's death, and I believe to bring together all of the members of the Northmen for kind of one big sort of group, or was it just the leaders? I can't actually remember.
It was the leaders, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's where we left off. Just some other background in what happened last session. Kuril was going to fight Tamacti, and that's when Gabriel and Rubin stepped in. The fight was fierce. Gabriel almost went unconscious. Tamacti, I believe, was pretty much unscathed for most of it, other than the
range character
fireball
type shit.
Yeah, I didn't even dip into my actual hit points, just my temp HP.
And then Rubin was put unconscious. And right before the fight ended, or no, it was right after the fight ended, he had to take his third death saving throw. And as the first two did, he failed and died. And so, in response to this, in a quick moment of thought, Tamacti started to search for a church, and they made their way up to the church where he put down Rubin's body. The church was well lit by candles and clearly abandoned by the people of Castelor, but it was a church of Moriel, House of Moriel, and so he put down Rubin's body and prayed to Moriel, saying, "Take my life, not his. Bring him back. I know that he has strayed from the path of righteousness, but he deserves a second chance," something along those lines. And Moriel was there, and told Tamacti to leave the building, that he would take care of it. Tamacti gained back his wings as in service of Moriel, and Gabriel left the building as well, but not before spotting somebody downstairs, the disembodied figure from Clan Morgong. And so as Gabriel and Tamacti left the building, the Archseraph Moriel brought Rubin back from the dead. And at the same time, this disembodied brought a seraph that was down in the basement in a tomb back from the dead. And so when Rubin came up and was speaking to them, a couple minutes passed while they were talking. Weasel ran up. That's when Tamacti told him to go gather the other scouts outside of town. And that's when they saw that the disembodied figure had resurrected the seraph and was leaving the building as well. And his words were that Morgong may have left, and that the raid may have failed, but he got what he came for, which was the seraph of Moriel.
Sorry, did he say he got what he came for, or
Well,
we
his
got
words
what
were
we came for?
we. His words
Okay,
were we.
all right. I just wanted to clarify.
So
Yeah,
all
that's
of
good.
Morgong is on.
No, that was a good point. Thank you for that. So yeah, we resume with you guys just outside of this clearing, just within the woods, and the scouts have just been dispersed to go gather everyone. So I suppose if you guys had something to say to each other in private, now would probably be the time for that.
4 days left till Dark Reign, man.
Mm-hmm. And if
Now
it's
we're
any
fucked.
consolation for how intense Dark Reign has been,
Yeah, I think the A side's already in that.
the
right?
A side is a single day into Dark Reign, and it's been 4 sessions.
Oh fuck.
Sounds like a Prowler type beat. Sure.
Yeah,
Gabriel,
they've been in conflict, I think, 3 times now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
we're going to die.
Tamacti's
Oh.
gonna kind of grab his 2 friends by the shoulders. No matter how this conversation turns out, no matter how much we may have to swallow our pride, all that matters is that we get the clans to Talstar, was it?
I nod.
I understand that we may have to shoulder some of the blame for this. If that is what we have to do for the greater good, it is what we must do.
I already told the scouts to tell them my idea. It will be fine.
Yes,
Most of them
and
already hate.
it is a fine thing to tell the scouts that, but when you are confronted with several angry warlords, quite frankly is what they are, it may be harder to hold your tongue. I just want to reassure you that doing so is the best course of action.
I understand.
All right, well, let us proceed with this, no doubt, unpleasantness.
I just go forward.
Rubin just kind of waits to be released before he moves as well.
I do not.
What did you do with Star Sinker, by the way? Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's still there. But he's not holding it or anything.
Okay.
He's it's just kind of tied around him like the other chain is.
Tamacti, can you make for me... I think that... I'm not a big fan of, making pointed rolls, because I don't want to give anything away, but I think that this is one of those situations where you would see something and maybe automatically kind of know something.
Okay.
Could you make for me a religion check or an arcana check? Either one is fine.
Yeah, we're gonna do a religion check, Chief.
Okay.
Ooh,
Oh.
nat 1.
Not one on a 5 or a 6. Sorry. We'll just ignore that I asked for a roll.
Okay, sure.
And so, are you still holding Rubin there? He said he was going to wait until he was released.
No, I'd release you guys.
Yeah.
I wasn't like
And,
holding you in place, just sort of putting my
Just-
hands on your shoulders as we were
Okay,
walking.
But he was kind of waiting. Oh, as we were walking. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like you stopped us and you're like,
No,
no. Okay. I understand now. Then yeah, he just keeps walking. A bit behind Gabriel,
Got
probably
it.
not as quick. But
Yeah, got it. And so you guys are coming out of Castlor, like Castlor now to your southwest. You guys going out from the woods towards the northeast, and as we know, the darkness pulled away from Astoria currently, and it's now nearing sunrise. So the sky's looking a little bit brighter out to the east, and kind of lighting up on the like you can see it in this opening that it's lighting up over there, and. You also know that when you guys had originally started coming here to Castlor from the ships, there were about 50 people per ship plus the slaves, which meant that there were about 600 people that were raiding. And the numbers look drastically cut currently, because when the beast sort of did his thing, keep in mind that these people were all already armed. They had weapons at the ready.
Yeah.
And they're all trained warriors. And so there's currently about 250 people left of those 600. And half of them are wounded, pretty much. And so it's unlikely. Yeah, you guys spoke to Tabe briefly, and he said it's unlikely that... or maybe it wasn't Tabe, I think it was Weasel.
it was Weasel.
Yeah, he said that Limgree was working on healing people, like the clerics were, but it was unlikely that they would be ready to move in the same day. So that's kind of the general what you see ahead of you as you open into this clearing, and it's like a massive sort of like oval of plains that are away from these like dead trees and thick forest outside of Castlor. People are resting up against like sparse trees and sitting down and laying down on the ground and leaning up against like small boulders. Just kind of, licking their wounds, all that. And the first person to approach you guys after the scouts have been sent off is Mother Ishka.
Oh my.
And she just kind of like steps out from the crowd. She's looking around her people, like face just mortified.
Yeah, I don't look at her in the eyes.
Do you like walk past her?
I just kind of stand there. I'll let Tamacti or Rubin kind of catch up and go forward. Can't do it.
She like tries to bring her eyes up to yours, sees that you're like looking to the side or something like that, or just turned your head away, and she moves over to Rubin.
And Rubin had slowed down. He's probably standing beside Gabriel, but he's definitely looking at her. Like it's he's not doing the same avoid eye contact thing.
Yeah. And both Gabriel and Rubin were pretty beat up in that fight, so I'd say you guys have some blood on your armor or something like that.
Yeah, he's
I'm totally fucked.
I'd say anything aside from like the withered plate is just like caved in on his chest, because I don't think the magic armor does that. But
what happened? Where is everyone?
I'm sorry to say, Mother Ishka, but many perished in the city.
Were they armed? Were they ready?
And he shakes his head. The work of dark magic.
It's like her immediate response to just take like a balled up fist and just like hit the side of it against your chest a couple times.
And he clearly like stumbles back a little.
What's dark
very
magic?
painful.
What happened? What kind of dark magic takes so many people at once?
Twisted their mind, made everyone kill each other. It was the beast, if you ever heard of it. It was not supposed to be in Astoria, but yeah, it was.
She like jerks her head to the side to look at Gabriel, and then over to Tamacti.
A creature from the Birok.
But why here?
I do
Why
not
now?
know.
We will find out.
Where's Thorgrim?
He is dead too.
She brings her eyes back to yours, like looking. Is your helmet on or is it off?
It's
Oh,
It was on when
it's on.
we were
Yeah, it was on
leaving.
last, so yeah.
Yeah.
He just hasn't taken it off yet.
Dead?
I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
yes.
I have issued the scouts to go through the camp, telling everyone the story of his passing. You should hear the official account soon.
I look at Tamacti like, with eyes are like, she deserves better than the fucking lie.
However, what the...
I killed him under the
Her-
influence of this magic, whatnot. But the excuses do not matter. I'm the one who killed him. I was weak.
Her face goes red, her eyes well up with tears, and she jerks her head back to the side to face you again.
I turn to look at fucking Gabriel. That, however, is not the story the clan will be told, because the clan must believe he died a hero fighting the creature that we believe caused the beast's arrival. It is for the good of the clan and its continued survival. He will be known as a hero. As he was in life, he shall be in death.
Divines.
I know this is hard. It is for all of us. But we have to move forward from this. There are great forces at work whose machinations turn their evil wheels even now. The Clan Morgong, they had ulterior motives for this raid, and they were allowed to succeed in them. What that means for the rest of the clans, I do not know, but I fear their intentions will not benefit anyone but themselves.
Her eyes kind of trailed downward, still like leaning there, probably into Rubin now, as like tears are streaking down her cheeks.
And at first, Rubin just kind of stands there like a wall, but after a moment, tries to offer a little bit of comfort, and like a sort of like half hug. You know what I'm talking about? Like not all the way around,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like
Like a side hug.
Only one arm.
Yeah, I got you. Where is he?
I left his body with two of the scouts. Yeah. I kind of point back in the general direction it came from, because I did come out of this body, but didn't really have the strength to carry it.
And it will be brought here for everyone to see.
I nod.
She like clenches her jaw and turns and tries to pry away from Rubin's arm.
It's easy enough to do.
She gives Gabriel one more look, like a mixture of like anger at him and sadness in hearing his words that it wasn't his fault. And it's for like a single second before she like turns her head away, like facing completely away from him, and you can see like in the last second that her face is sort of facing you, Gabriel, just like it break down into that full kind of crying face.
Yeah.
And you can hear her starting to sob as she walks away. It's not long before the leaders of the clan start to make their way over, and in two, being Seer and Rune, walking over together, and then another two, Mithra and Limgree, and then finally Volgar. And Mother Ishka, who is now presumably going to be taking lead over the merchants, does not attend. The leader of Rune speaks up first. He was the one that you first spoke to.
Yeah, he was my first friend.
Yeah. His name, if you don't remember, was Felden.
Felden. Got it. I did not remember.
Mhm.
I have a bird brain.
I get it, man. What's the news? What do you have to tell us? We're all here. What is it? He looks a little bit
Well,
confused, not sure. Is like looking side to side between the other leaders.
as I am sure you have noticed, we have this raid has failed, and we have lost more than half our forces. The others are wounded. I'm certain you are treating what you have left, unless I am mistaken.
With what supplies we have, yes.
We will need to make way back to the boats and head south to Talistar with what we have left, for the ones who want to go. There's the duty to accomplish there, to stop whatever is coming, which will be more than this. Or we can go back north, I suppose, and just wait for the end and die. You do what you wish, but the ones that, I believe, organized this mess are Morgon. They came to the church and they said they got what they came for, which I looked at Tamacti, like, because I'm not sure what it was, but
They resurrected, and as I say this, I sort of give a look pointedly to the leader of Limgree. They resurrected the corpse of a dead seraph.
The leaders kind of exchange a look, especially Limgree's leader, who all of a sudden looks very uncomfortable, and he brings up, and you actually spoke to him, by the way, in that tent.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Wait, Tamacti, he resurrected a seraph, and they're going back to the boats already.
Yes, I do not believe. I spoke briefly to the seraph as they were leaving. We were too battered and beaten from the fight with demonic forces to put a stop to them. I do not believe the seraph has good intent in his heart any longer. I do not know if he serves any master at all, or himself, but I know that whatever his intentions, they are of ill intent.
The seraph, he was in Castler?
Yes, he was entombed beneath a temple dedicated to my arch-seraph, Moriel.
Judging by his armor, he was there for a long time.
Yeah, you do remember that for sure. You see Limgree's leader clench his teeth, kind of show them a little bit as he turns his head to the side, scowling. The resurrected Gesidius.
I look like I don't know who that is because I do not.
Do I recognize that name?
Gesidius is he was a warrior in life. You'd probably be familiar with him. He was around during your time, previous. He was a warrior in life and a warrior as a seraph. And just a reminder of what he looked like, now resurrected. His skin is a pale gray with dark lines that run from his eyes and behind his ears like blackened veins, and his eyes are a dark silver. The armor is decorated in ways of times long past with the symbol of Moriel on one shoulder, and his wings are tattered and missing feathers, with many being crumpled. Scars litter his skin where armor was not present. He's clearly a seasoned veteran. They resurrected a monster of a man, and they're traveling back to the ships. To what? Go north again?
Most likely. My theory is that they used this raid as a distraction to get what they wanted, which was this, and then they are intent on dominating the north from all of you. So I told them I would come back north when all of this was done and kill him. Hopefully I live long enough to live that.
But by what means? What is to prevent them from taking all of the ships or
Nothing.
destroying them?
No, nothing at all.
So we travel back, 4 days to the ships to find that they're not there or they're destroyed?
I will do the walk. I will come back in 2.
There is another option.
Oh yeah, I look at Tamacti and his wings. He could just go there.
I could make the distance in a much shorter time.
Limgree's leader.
Tend to your wounded and we will figure out what happened to the boats.
Many of ours won't be able to move for a whole day. We
are
don't
aware.
We don't have the means to heal them all so suddenly. We'll need time to rest. Gain back our magics.
Then rest. We will head to Talastar once we can. With boats or no boats. And like I said, with the ones who want to come. But if the boats are gone, then I'm afraid you do not have much choice.
Shit.
It seems Morgang has played everyone. If the beast here was their doing, I do not know. All I know is that they used everyone, all of your lives, for their gain. That should be plenty proof enough of their betrayal.
The leader of Volgar and the leader of Mithra, they both speak up, and Mithra is going on about, this will be written down in the Lord Edda. The whole North will know their betrayal in history, and he gets cut off by Volgar's leader. Fuck your history. I'm taking my men and I'm running back to the boats now. They're going to die. They will all perish. This is not happening. This cannot be accepted.
Your men are dead, or dying, or wounded, while theirs are not. They will decimate you if you go to the boats.
I will take all that are willing to go with me from every clan and fight them.
They do not have that much of a head start I will be able to get to the boats before them.
And then do what with the boats?
If each of you, I gesture to the leaders of the clans, provide me with some means of proof that the word that I carry is directly from your mouths, I may be able to convince the people guarding the boats to rally with me, to hold off Morgong, while the rest of you take a moment to rest and then come assist us.
And even if you were to make it there with your force and you could fight Morgong, I doubt you could fight whatever that angel's name was. It will be too much for any of you.
Volgar's leader kind of scowls and turns his head away from everyone, like in embarrassment, but also like frustration.
Yeah, I kind of give him a knowing look, like I get it. I'm tilted too. Don't worry.
It will take us 9 hours, and the people will be ready to move, but they'll still be exhausted.
Then get going. 9 hours.
How
leader was the one saying that.
How far is it from where we are roughly to Talstar on foot? Like how many days travel?
From
more
here,
than 4.
Let's see here.
Because it's like next to Malkovia, I believe, right?
It's in the little pocket.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what's the difference between Olsenburg to Gravenstein? All right. Yeah.
To be fair, that was a lot of mountain terrain.
So this is
that was a lot of mountain terrain. You guys were.
That's a 30-session journey right there.
No, because there would be some time skips probably along the way.
No, I was fucking with you.
Since you guys have like so many people that could be on watch, like it's unlikely that anything would get into the camp like without getting slaughtered by like at least 10 Northmen, you know. So we wouldn't need to really worry about nighttime combat and stuff like that too much.
The way I see it, we sort of have two options. We either waste time maybe securing the boats, or write them off as a loss and head towards Talstar.
Well, we could at least go check them. Like maybe Morgong just took theirs and like screwed off. You know, I doubt, but.
Rubin's gonna tap Tamacti on the shoulder.
Yes.
Why not simply sail the ships further south? Avoid the fight completely, and we can regroup at a destination they don't know. Leave them all there to die.
I doubt I will be able to take Morgong ships, but we could take the rest.
He nods a little.
Are you all familiar with a part of the coastline that I could coordinate the ships to sail to?
You said you're going to where? Telstar?
Yes.
Telstar is in a pocket, tucked away between the river split west of Malkovia. You could take them south of here, directly. It'll be a few days' walk for us, and the ships will sail around the coast, dock at that pocket, and can pick us up. We can travel from there to the river that will lead us up, mostly to Telstar.
That is what I will try to do.
Mithra's leader, by the way.
All right. Are we all in agreement? We must work as one now. It is the only way we all survive this, the only way we see this through to completion. Morgong will be dealt with in time, but if we do not survive Dark Rain...
we'll never have the chance to give them the sword.
Gods, if it were up to me, says Volgar's leader, as he's like still turned away.
Yeah.
I would travel back north and unleash the primordials on them.
That was my second option. If none of this worked, I was planning to head back to Cindergarst. And
wipe out the whole fucking legion of spies, a lot of them.
Forgive me for...
I nod. Me and this guy see eye.
I am but a newcomer to your history, but would that not mean certain destruction for you all in the end?
They will be brought back, but the satisfaction of Morgong's destruction is the important part.
But the way I was told, they are given the goal, and once that goal is accomplished, they will be free. But they have been brought to this mountain before. It can be done again.
Yes, it can be done again.
But like I was saying, it is a second option. For now, we will see what we can do with our bare hands, and if nothing works, then there is this. It will require at least one of us to make it back to Cindergast. I looked between like the three of us, so you two and myself.
And Rubin nods.
So if everything is going terribly and we are dying, you need to leave Tamacti and go there. It might be the only chance the world has against Darkrain if it gets too bad. And well, me and Rubin do not have wings.
I will do what I must for the good of this realm. Now, they have, I would estimate, a several-hour head start on me already. Do you all have clan seals or something that bears your station that I could use temporarily to show that I bring your will with me? I say this to all of the leaders of the clan.
Mithra, Limgri, and Rune all kind of simultaneously, before you even finish saying what you're saying, dig into various sort of pouches at their waist on their belt, or like in their pockets, or like just into their jackets and down into like sewn-in interior pockets, and they all produce some sort of symbol of their clan, whether it's something that's like burned into leather or embroidered onto something, or cast of steel. But those three each produce something, and Seer takes a moment, almost reluctant. If you don't remember, Seer was one of the clans that was kind of
didn't like us that much.
Didn't like you guys at the start.
Cringe looking, according to Strider's chart here that I've been looking at to remember all their names.
But he relents after some time and produces a symbol for you, and this one is kind of like a stack of parchment that has been glued together with sap, and like the symbol is carved into it, likely with a knife, like cut out pages to form like an indent of this symbol, and then like burned a little bit around the edges. And he hands it to you. I want this back. It's mine personally.
I will see to it that it is returned to you.
And finally, Volgar, the one who had been turned away, kind of frustrated at the embarrassment of his plan, being shot down so quickly, digs into kind of like sticks his fingers underneath the collar of his jacket and furs and pulls off a necklace and reaches forward to like kind of put it around your neck.
All right, I will put the necklace, or allow him to put the necklace around my neck, and then I will deposit every other item into my bag.
He gets close to you, the leader of Volgar.
Okay.
And he says low, not low enough that people can't hear him, but low enough to really bring forth how pissed he is, and like a tone that is just gravel. And you probably remember in the brief description that was given to you before, that they're the most loyal to the Prismatic Druids, and they regularly provide captives and slaves and criminals as human sacrifices for the rituals. And he says to you, go back to the ships. There are plenty of weapons left on them, and there are plenty of those left to watch the slaves. Gather the slaves. I've seen the way you talk to them. And kill anyone from Borgon on those ships, and take those goddamn ships. We want nothing left for them.
I give him a look.
We need them.
I will free our slaves if you do this.
Oh shit.
I have your word. Oh, jinx. Haha. Very well. For their freedom, I will do this.
He pats you on the shoulder once and steps away. Still facing you, but like, now a step away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Then Limgri, go. Do what you need to do. Make sure that the people are healed and ready to move. You have 9 hours. And
I nodded that.
The leaders kind of look between each other, all in unison, giving like a series of nods, or a couple of them give like just a single nod, a shrug, whatever. But they all acknowledge that this is kind of the plan that you guys have decided upon, going back to the ships and sailing them around the coast and whatnot is kind of what they're all going to agree on, and the agreed destination for where the ships will land, and where the abled bodies will travel south to meet the ships.
I still need to talk to Mother Rishka, though. I need to get some sort of sigil for the merchant clan for their ships.
Mhm.
Right?
If you want to.
Well, I feel like I should, just in case.
It's up to you, man.
All up to you.
I will need to speak to Mother Ishka, secure a symbol for the merchant clan. Then I will leave.
The leaders nod. Seer's leader, which, like I said before, they all kind of have the appearance of what their clan kind of stands for, whether it's like economically focused or historically focused or magic focused or divine focused, that sort of stuff. And so they're all kind of different in their own appearances. And Seer's leader, the economy focused clan, it reminds you, yes, but be quick. We're on the clock now.
Indeed. And with that, I will go look for Mother Ishka.
You find her, sitting down on a boulder, maybe about 100 feet away, or 70 feet away. Sitting down on a boulder with her, a small boulder, with her elbows planted on her knees, her hands kind of held together in like balled fists, and her head kind of hanging down low, facing down towards the ground. Weasel is there standing over her, with his arms crossed, kind of giving her space, but staying close enough. She's still upset, of course.
Yeah. I'll, approach her solemnly and give her sort of a nod and greeting.
She hears you approach, but doesn't seem to look up. Is there something that you need? Says Weasel.
Yes. Firstly, Mother Ishka, I wanted to offer you my personal sorrow for the loss of Thorgrim. He was a friend to me, and I can only imagine what he was to you. I can only offer you the assurance that the creature I believe caused his death is gone. I do not know if he has gone permanently, but I made sure of it that it will take him some time to come back if he does try and claw his way from the pits of hell.
Good.
I have a request of you.
She turns her head to the side, kind of side-eyeing you. And what can I do for you, young man?
I have just finished meeting with the leaders of the rest of the clans, and a decision has been made. I will fly to the ships ahead of Morgong and using the symbols from each of the clans provided to me by their leaders, convince those left on board to guard them to listen to my word. We will pilot the ships to a small inlet south of here, which once all of the wounded have had some time to rest and heal, you will all move and meet us there. From there, we will proceed to Talstar and save the world. Tamacti will end in a somewhat optimistic note.
The world.
Nothing short of that is at stake, Mother Ishka. I know you think me a young man, but I am not.
Save your words, Tamacti, I know.
I have seen much destruction and much evil in my lifetime, but if what my companions have told me is true, what we are about to face, it is rivaled by no other evil. It will take all of our combined strength and the combined strength of my companions' friends who are preparing elsewhere in the region to even have a chance of stopping it. Morgong's betrayal stings bitterly, more so that they resurrected one of my fallen kindred, and we will see to it that they pay for that betrayal. But to do so, there must be a world to live in.
Tamacti, my world is already gone. But you can take what's left of it and do what you need to do. She digs into like a pocket inside of her sort of jacket that is like almost exploding with furs, and she provides a small rabbit's foot. It's a white rabbit.
Ah, yes, I remember the rabbit's foot. She's shown it to me before.
Yeah. It was Storgrim's.
Thank you. And I sort of reach my arm out and to do like the traditional northern like greeting.
Mm-hmm.
Does she take it?
She does.
As she does, I'll pull her in and give her sort of wrap my other arm around her and sort of a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And I whisper in her ear, I will make sure his death was not in vain. And then I'll release her and take the rabbit's foot out of her hand as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, did you guys kind of follow me over? Are we still kind of within sightline of each other?
No, after the meeting kind of adjourned, Rubin wandered off.
Okay.
And I just sat down where we were because I'm fucked.
All right. Well, with that then, I will give a nod to Weasel. I'll say, take care of yourself, her, and the clan. I will see you again soon.
Always.
And then I will unfurl my wings and take to the sky.
Okay. Man. But, I expected that this opening scene was going to be heavy, but I'm never not surprised. Man, that's some good stuff. And as you take to the sky, and you begin to fly north by northeast, the direction of the direction of the ships. Let's see. The sun begins to rise, and you can see your surroundings for as far as the eye can see on the horizon. I don't know how high above the ground do you fly? The trees that are kind of sparse, like once you get away from the city, are probably about 50 feet tall.
Okay, I'll sail probably double their height, so roughly 100 feet up in the air. I don't want Morgang like seeing me and trying to snipe me out of the sky.
I got you. Okay. Does Rubin? We'll get back to you. But does Rubin and Gabriel? I know Gabriel's kind of sitting down, but if anything were to happen, so Limgray is going to go about like praying and trying to heal the wounded, getting them ready to move, and then they need to rest so that they can rebuild their energy and eat and stuff like that, and get ready to wake up and use their energy again to continue healing until they're finished and everyone's ready to move. So is there anything specific that you two would do in the next 9 or so hours?
I'll let Strider go first.
I will meditate and try to reach the beast, not the one that killed all of us, but the one that makes me a werewolf and want to kill people.
Like,
it's time to delve deep.
Okay.
Just focus on essentially on like what the feeling I had when we were there.
Yeah, some recap before for our listeners primarily, but also for you. Before the party split, they started out in Ulstenburg and they traveled for about 15 sessions to get to Fallowheart, the first 10 being on their way to Grabenstein. And on their way to Grabenstein, they went through their first full moon cycle, which in our calendar, which is a homebrew calendar, the full moon cycle this time was 4 days long. And so every night Gabriel had to like come up with an excuse to disappear for the night. And meanwhile, the party was like, don't know what he's doing, but something weird, or he's just kind of doing his own thing. And meanwhile, he's out there like battling himself, like trying to keep control of this werewolf. And there are a couple nights that he succeeded and a couple nights that he didn't. And he kept seeing different visions when he would, like he'd kind of like get sucked into his mind and it was just trapped there for a moment while he battled with these sort of decisions he had to make. And he saw a white wolf in one of them, like a white werewolf, commonly referred to amongst the people of the Burrock as the ghost of Stillborn Forest being specific, but they call it the ghost of Stillborn. And this is a werewolf that he kind of has a history with. And oddly enough, he and this werewolf do look kind of similar. They're both white werewolves. this other one being kind of covered in scars and stuff like that. But yeah, so if you're meditating and you're kind of delving into your mind, you close your eyes and you can hear your heartbeat, a little bit weak with how tired you are and exhausted and beaten up. And the world around you just seems to fall into quiet, back into silence. And your vision is no longer that of the inside of your eyelids, but goes into just a serene pitch darkness that then starts to fade into the opening of of a clearing. And in this image of this clearing, the full moon is high in the sky, and standing there in this clearing, maybe about 20 feet away from you, is this figure, this white werewolf.
Is he looking at me or looking away?
It's looking away from you.
All right. I will walk up that little slope and go stand next to him, unless he turns before I arrive there.
He doesn't turn.
Okay. I will stand next to him then and kind of look up at whatever he's looking, most likely the moon.
He is looking up at the moon. And the moon, there are actually two moons for our listeners, Acreon and Assyrion, the two blue eyes of the sky. And currently there's only one of them up. The other one is either hidden behind some trees past the clearing, or just shrouded in the darkness, or, it's just a vision. So who knows, whatever reason it's not there, but Acreon is there.
All right. And I will kind of speak without looking at him, just keeping the eyes up. How do you live with this hunger constantly? Does it ever get better?
No. It only gets worse. And you deal with it. There are many that you will push away from you, because they will be afraid. They will fear that you can't control yourself. And for good reason. Mine left me long, long ago. And so I make more.
I kind of... he's in his werewolf form right now, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of look at myself. Am I or am I not?
I don't know, which one do you want to be in your meditative state?
I probably will not, I assume, right now. Just because kind of calm,
Okay.
I suppose like you made me.
Yes.
Why leave me there then and not take me with you? Why kill him?
Kill. No. I would never kill one of ours.
Then where is he? I never found his body, so I assumed you had eaten him and left me there for some reason.
You said you would come with us if we left you to find your own path. I kept that promise. But where does your path lead you? Where are you going now?
I do not know. Talastar for now, and I feel what we are now, what I am now, is not enough. If I had just been better, the beast would not have taken over. And I'm not speaking about the beast we live with, but the bigger one. Whoever he or she or it is, I do not know.
He looks over his scars along his arm on the side of him that you are standing on.
That's the thing about monsters, though. They can all be beaten.
Are you beaten? Or are you still alive somewhere?
I'm not sure yet.
And he turns to look back up at the moon again.
Well, if you were taken to Talastar, as I have heard, I will find you there.
And I hope that you do.
I'll just look up at the moon with him, kind of stand in silence for a bit.
And as you look up to the moon in this kind of meditative state, eventually you are... I'm gonna take some creative liberty here and some power gaming.
Go ahead, bro. All yours.
But eventually, you don't know where the meditative state ends and sleep begins. But being as tired as you are and as exhausted as you are, you fall asleep. And when you wake, it'll be about 9 hours from now, when everyone is kind of finishing up their healing and getting ready to move. And when you wake, you will wake to Tabe standing, or I guess squatting down next to you kind of like praying to somebody. But we'll get to that.
Sounds good.
What about you, Rubin?
Yeah. About the time that the meeting concluded, Rubin started wandering off, pretty much towards just a tree. One that's no one's really gathered around.
Mhm.
As he's walking.
There
Okay.
are a couple sparse trees in this clearing, like I said before, but there's also like a whole forest around you. So if you wanted to, you could go into the forest a little bit, a few feet. Just a
Yeah,
reminder.
he'd probably go into the forest.
Okay.
And as he's walking, he's removing his helmet and then holds it by his side. So he continues to walk, and eventually, when he reaches one of the trees, sets his helmet down and begins unraveling Star Sinker from him.
Okay. The first thing that you notice about it is before it kind of felt warm to the touch. You've been holding this whole time, so you probably already know, but it is cold.
Mm-hmm.
And the sort of like nice silvery steel that it was before is now like a darker color. Not like black, but like a dark gray. I think that you would be possibly familiar with this material. So I'm going to allow you to make a
religion.
You know what? Give me a second to actually think on what kind of roll that would be. Because for Tamacti, it made sense for it to be religion, but in your case, I don't think it would be. And so
Probably only Arcana with me.
Either an Arcana or a History.
Oh shit!
I think.
Okay. Doesn't matter for me, so I'll roll a Arcana.
Religion would also probably work too, considering that you were in the faith of you're in the faith of Tormach. So one of those three, I think, would be fine. Gonna be pretty loose about it. Oh. So Tamacti rolled a nat 1 on his religion check for this, and Rubin also just rolled a nat 1 on his religion check for it.
Oh my days.
That's kind of crazy. In the last session that we recorded for the A side, Nezzy rolled 2 back-to-back crits, and then a non-crit, and then rolled another crit, and then a nat 1. So in the span of like 5 rolls, rolled 4 what would be considered criticals. So like 3 good, 1 bad. Kind of crazy.
Jeez.
The luck has just been weird on rolls lately. But yeah, I'm sorry, but
Yeah, no, it's just I don't notice disregard the roll. It never happened.
yeah.
And after he gets it untangled from himself, begins to wrap it around the base of this tree.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure how long Star Sinker is, but I imagine it's long enough to at least meet itself again.
Like 10 feet.
Okay. 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably
Definitely long enough to meet itself again, yeah.
And then he ties it kind of around itself to hold its position around this tree.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's sitting there, he stares at it for a good bit, and then pulls out that dagger of his and starts chipping away at the bark to carve something and do it above where he's leaving Star Sinker.
Okay.
And that'll, probably take a little bit, carving into wood.
What language are you carving? Or is it just like a symbol or what?
No, it is not a symbol. He's carving an abyssal.
Okay.
And he's going to carve the words, ambition turns to ash above it.
That's pretty sick, actually. I like that.
And after that, which, probably, again, takes like an hour, maybe, he scoops up his helmet, just kind of lazily saunters back towards the camp to find somewhere to lay down.
I think as you turn around, there's a figure standing there behind you. You didn't hear them approach.
Oh, shit.
They are gray-skinned with very pointed features, jet black eyes, and they have horns, but they're very humanoid. And they have a very wide mouth that you see. They're kind of like dribbles, almost like drool lines, but it's like a blackish color with spiked chains that encircle around both of his arms and legs and run all the way down. He's wearing kind of like a tattered cloth.
Before any interaction happens, is my symbol glowing at all? Because that determines how this interaction will go.
Considering that I don't think in this instance that it is.
Then he turns around and is just surprised. Oh. And then realizes, at first it's not someone from the camp. And then looks closer and closer and realizes it's probably like a demon or something. I don't think he'd know what this is.
Definitely doesn't.
Yeah, not familiar.
It's definitely looks fiendish. Like probably a demon of some sort. But they cross their arms and there's like the clank of chains and they're just kind of like staring past you, looking at the chain that's wrapped around the tree and what you wrote. You're not going to keep that.
It was not a gift for me.
Nah, not anymore at least.
Then I am not worthy to wield it. So no, I will not keep it.
Why do you feel that you need to be worthy for it?
And he pauses for a long moment to think on that question.
Principle, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe faith. I don't quite know the answer to that one. But I know it's not mine.
Whose was it?
Kiro.
I'm not familiar with a Kiro.
A demon. A dead demon. Or at least Tormak.
Yeah, Tormak.
I assumed that's who you served, but now I'm not so sure. Who are you?
No, I could never serve anyone else. They would serve me.
Does he have any symbols on him that might look familiar?
Think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're talking to that guy, like he's actually that guy.
He is that guy.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. He extends his hand out, but like, not to shake. He extends it palm down, hand drooping, as if like expecting you to kiss the top of his hand.
And you are?
Me?
Yes.
I am Beleth.
Is that a name I would recognize?
It's another archdemon.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is literally that guy.
Well, who might this dude
From one
kick
to
my
another.
ass. Rubin does step forward and do the honors of greeting him. Same way you would greet a nobleman or something.
Do you want revenge? Do you want to be even?
Revenge for what? Whom?
You've been cast aside, have you not?
I have.
Doesn't that give you some sort of pain? Some sort of anger?
Disappointment in myself.
Madness, perhaps? Fear of what is ahead?
I do sometimes wonder what my purpose is, but
I can help you, I can give you what you need. I can tell you secrets. I can make you powerful. Don't you want power?
I'm not sure what I want.
Trust me. You want this. You just don't know it yet. His kind of wide mouth turns into like a very wide grin, revealing black coated teeth like oil.
No, I'm not after revenge. And as for power, I'm not sure yet.
I saw you fight that fiend. Is that the one you speak of? Kiro?
Yes.
Would you fight another fiend? What if I told you to fight another fiend? Would you do it for me?
It looks like he's really weighing his options there.
A simple task. Something I'm sure you can do. You see, the hells are not big enough for all of us arch-seraphs. You have reason to not... You have reason to hate Tormak. He cast you aside. You were faithful to him, I saw it. And now he refuses to help you. Someone who had been with him for so long spread his faith upon those ships.
I saw it all. Get rid of Tolmok for me. When you're ready, I can bring him forth. I know what pushes him. I know what angers him, draws him from the shadows. I can bring him to you. You need only to be stronger. Come now, don't you want to be strong? Give you the power to kill the beast. I know it's what you want.
And he looks down towards his helmet that he was holding in his right hand, and then back up toward this archdemon.
No, my faith cannot be bought.
Then fine. I will not push you, because I'm sure that you'll come crawling back to me. It's only a matter of time, and I'll be watching. Leave that chain if you must, but it's not useless yet.
He nods once.
Your offer is appreciated.
Do not dawdle, for my offer is not for you alone.
I'm going to rest now. I'm tired.
Yes. I see that you need it.
And at that, Rubin's going to try to walk past.
Okay. And he actually steps out of your way, even if he was in your way. And if you were to look back after you step past him,
He does not.
you would not be there either way.
Gotcha.
Damn, he sounded like Palpatine when he said no. I'm like, wait. Fucking Sheev is here.
And, yeah, Rubin's going to saunter back into camp. Very, caught off guard by that encounter, but resolute for now. That the one thing he does need to do is rest before he drops dead.
Got you.
The one thing you need is serving another archdemon. Because one fucking you over wasn't enough.
Think about the power, though.
Come on, I could kill the bees. Come on.
That's sick, dude. If he asked me, I would have said yes in a heartbeat.
He's a conniving rat fuck that's telling you exactly what you want to hear to use you, just like Tormok was. Don't be a fool.
He'd never do that. He'd never do that. Demons are good people, guys.
Man, I love Covert in this whole encounter. He's like, no, come on, the good side. He's just trying to use you. So you head back to the camp, resolute to rest. And is that what you do? Is that like, you get in camp and you're like, all right, time to rest. I'm going straight to rest. I'm resting.
He probably just, might look around for Gabriel. What does he look like in his meditative state? I feel like I definitely have seen it before, but is he just, sitting there crisscross applesauce,
That's up for Strider.
Strider?
Yes. Cross-legged.
Okay.
Cross-legged with the arms kind of just hanging lazily on top of his knees. With the palms on the actual knees.
Then he's probably just going to lay down beside Gabriel and drink his canteen after sprinkling some powder into it.
Kind of sleep brew.
Yeah, my fucking drugs, my hardcore drugs.
Okay. So then when the both of you wake up in 9 hours, then Tabe is there with both of you, kind of like praying. But before we get to that, I'm coming back over to Tamacti, whom he messaged me saying he would like to cast Expeditious Retreat to hasten his flight. And he said he's flying about 100 feet above the air, or 100 feet above the ground, up in the air.
Oh shit, I could have given him Long Strider too.
Yeah, that's why I was looking to see if you were still there, but you decided to do your own,
Yeah, sorry.
cavorting with demons.
So he's going north by northeast back towards the ships, and I think, let's see, it was at the vineyard, which was only like less than a day's travel away from Castelor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact distance. I think it was just a few hours.
Sure.
It was pretty close. The vineyard wasn't that far.
Yeah.
But the vineyard to the boats was like 2 days, I think, or like 1.5.
It was like I think 2 days. And so you cross the vineyard and you see that it's like a smoldering mess of collapsed wood, and the gates and everything is burnt in, and the floors are like they're just these empty towers without floors and empty buildings without floors, and everything's caved in, and there's smoke billowing from it and embers still burning and glowing. You just pass by it. You're on a mission.
Yep.
All right. You pass by it. You're on a mission. Before that, you even saw like the cart that was there that was tipped over, and you passed that, and that took you about probably 3 hours of flying. Very direct route. No terrain to walk on, and then you keep going, and about the I'd say about your 10th hour of flying, you have already gained a point of exhaustion by now. If you continue to fly for that full 10 hours.
Yes.
Okay, so point of exhaustion. You're flying for that whole 10 hours, and about 10 hours now, and still about a day and a half away from the ships, you pass by Morgon. Down there on the ground, and they're all marching away. Yeah, 10 hours sounds about right. So yeah, you pass by Morgon, or at least you see them on the horizon now. I'll say you haven't passed them yet. Any specific maneuver that you do? Like, do you fly up higher? Do you go around them, or you just like see you bitches, fly right over them?
I'll fly higher. I don't want to alert that fucking Seraph.
Okay, I'm gonna make for me a stealth, please, at advantage, because you're like a pinprick in the sky, or like an airplane, but there's still a chance.
Can't wait to fail this roll. 18.
Ooh, 18. Okay. You think that you flown up high enough that they probably won't notice you if they're just marching and looking forward, and so you just pass them and keep going for the ships?
I'll fly for probably another hour and then dip back down. Roughly, like, how is it starting to get late at all?
Considering it's been about 10 hours, sun was rising. It's like 4 p.m. now.
Okay. I'll fly until it starts to get dark. And then you said that there's some sparsely like dense tree patches with
they're
50-foot tall pine.
50-foot tall, like pines that are stripped of all of their pine needles. Because
any branches high up though?
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably about 35, 40 feet high, or like branches that are strong enough to support somebody.
Okay, so I think probably once it's gotten reasonably dark, and I think that Morgon will likely have stopped to break or make camp rather. I'm going to locate one of those pines, kind of sit myself down on one of the branches, and then I want to pull a rope from my pack and like tie myself into the tree.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, so then you would probably be traveling via flight for a total of
14 hours, 15 hours.
I was going to say 15 or 16 hours, yeah. And then you take a pit stop. You've still got this point of exhaustion, and you're tired, and you sit down in this tree, and you wrap yourself around it.
And then I'm going to wrap my wings around me as sort of like a protective cover, like sort of insulate myself a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Could you do me a favor and describe those wings again really quick, just for my own mental image?
Yeah. So they are where they protrude from his back. They are a sort of a dark, almost like pine pitch black wings. They look almost like they've been coated in an oil. They're kind of this slick, shimmery sheen to them. And as the feathers, the plumage reach out towards the tips of the wings, they sort of start to slowly change and lighten from kind of just like a dark, almost black, to a gray, to a light gray, and finally to sort of bright white at the wingtips.
Got it. Okay, I like that. That's cool kind of gradient.
So Tamacti will wrap himself as best he can in those, and he's going to take out one of his pistols, make sure it's loaded, and kind of hold that and try his best to sleep given the circumstances.
Okay. And so when you awake, if everything is undisturbed, you'll awake on the morning of the 34th. That cool with you?
Yeah. Real quick, I have to take a long rest to stave off a point of exhaustion, right?
Yeah, and also eat, probably.
Yeah.
You can keep stacking them, but yeah, to remove a point of exhaustion, you'll need a long rest.
I don't necessarily want to stack. I think like going past one starts to really detrimentally affect your ability to function as a
That is how not sleeping works.
Yeah. like having one, not so bad. Having two, pretty shitty. So
Indeed. There are spells to remove points of exhaustion, but you definitely do not have access to them.
Yeah. So if I awake undisturbed rather, it'll be the morning of the next day.
Okay. And so then, just so you know, there's probably going to be a fair period before we get back to you. Just
That's fine.
Catch the others out a little bit. Might do some time skipping, actually. We'll see. But the others, both Rubin and Gabriel, you wake up midday on the 33rd, the day that we started the session out on. And Tabe from Limgri clan, the kind of younger man who is not really battle oriented. He expressed to Tamacti that he was really kind of just faith oriented in there to try and convince the others that peace was the way. But he's there, like squatted down next to both of you, got his hands kind of cupped together, and he seems to be holding a symbol that is on a necklace, and just kind of praying softly under his breath.
What are you doing?
I kind of just get up a bit.
Yeah, Rubin just mutters from the ground. I got one eye open.
I'm praying for the both of you for a speedy recovery.
Save your words for those who need it. We are way past those.
Looking at you, I think that you need it.
Kind of look at my, realizing that I slept in my armor. Like, shit.
His symbol, I don't think that either of you would particularly recognize it, but for our listeners, is the symbol of Aphelion, which is the Seraph of Temperance, the Arch-Seraph of Temperance, and has the domains peace, meditation, enlightenment, and endurance. And so he's just really there to kind of give them a little pep, and so that sort of radiant energy is glowing from his symbol, and you can feel a warmth over your wounds and your bruises and your bones, like the wounds are being sewn back together, and the bruises are mending and slowly fading back into the color of your skin. And he's just there trying to make sure that everyone's ready to move. It won't be long now. Perhaps 30 minutes.
Good. We have much ground to cover.
And
Do you have
Very little time.
something to eat? You'll want to.
I nod and I pull out some ration from my like pouch or whatever, and I'll start munching on it.
I, however, do not
I
have something to eat.
chuck one to Rubin because I still have. Let me check. Actually, I have 9 left. 7 now.
And he nods and starts to sit up with a groan.
That ration will do you for a day, by the way. So like you can eat multiple times in a day.
It'll, I'm gonna rule that it'll be let's see, this is midday 33rd. It'll be nighttime of the 36th when you guys reach that bank. The clans are probably gonna be moving at a pretty fair pace.
Yeah. Don't have the time to waste.
Thank you for your prayers.
I
By the
know.
way.
Tape nods a couple times, looking away from you guys, just kind of looking off towards the woods to the south, past over the fields of people that are still being preyed upon and wounded and eating in the morning. It's going to be a long and quick walk. We have much ground to cover. He turns his head back to face Rubin.
Yeah, I stand up.
How many still cannot move on their own?
Just a couple dozen, but they'll be ready by the time that we go. We've all been resting, all of us from Limgri, just for this. I feel tired and spent, but it's almost warms my heart that the clans, aside from Morgong, are united in this purpose. I hope that when we travel back north, if we're able to, that we'll be able to share stories and that the north can see peace again. Aphelion would love that.
Aphelion and myself both, then. I will work that your prayers come to pass.
And so will I. A united North sounds nice.
But
He slowly-
first, we have to live to make it there.
Yes. He slowly stands up, kind of like a genuine, warm, half-toothy smile on his face as he does, kind of hearing those words from both of you, kind of validation of what he's really hoping for. And if you need something else, come find me. Don't be shy. but I've still got a little bit of energy left. I have others to see.
Good. Go see them. They will need it. We have been through worse.
He turns, giving you each one more flash of that smile before making his way over to another individual that's laying down, wincing, just kind of waking up from their slumber, and holding their side. And he quickly kneels down next to them and kind of like gently rests a hand on them, kind of like letting them know, like, hey, just lay down for now. And you see him already going about praying and the symbol glowing in his hands. And looking across this field, you see like just pock marks amongst the 250 of just like, it's almost like lightning bugs, where they like glow up and somebody is clearly deep in prayer and then kind of go away, and then one pops up somewhere else, and it's cool because Limgri is helping everyone.
Yeah, it really took all of us, almost all dying, for this shit to come together, but I guess it worked out in the end.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
An update. This is what I was talking about earlier. That I was like, oh, I'm excited to tell you guys about this, but now isn't the time. So Morgong fled. They started out. I kind of had the 6 clans color coded. So Mithra and Rune were green, Seer and Volgar were yellow, and Seer and Volgar were red, and then Morgong and Limgri were orange. Well, Limgri is now green, and Morgong is now red, and Volgar is now orange from red, and Seer is now green from red.
Damn.
So like
almost got them all.
It's kind of cool to see how things have been changing.
Just need one more, because I don't need Morgong. I will exterminate them, as promised.
It's just cool. It's like it's been a multi-session long thing that's been happening.
Yeah, we started out on the boat and it finally fucking went. Nothing brings people together like tragedy and dying.
I'm excited to see what happens when Covert makes his way back to the ships.
Yeah, the split party.
Yeah, at this point we're
right?
split to the power of 2.
Sorry to say, fellas, Tamacti's gonna take all his ships and become a pirate.
Yeah, a pirate angel.
That would be sick. I'd watch that.
That'd be a nice spin-off, yeah.
I think that really quick here, we're just gonna take a 5. All right, we are back. We are going to resume. There is going to be a bit of a time skip because that's just how I'm going to do it. So,
all right,
I want to come over to first Rubin and Gabriel. Is there anything you do in the morning before you guys leave? And once you're on the road for the next 3 days until the night of the 36th, consider what you would do during that time as well. Because not only do I need to catch you guys up with the A side, but
you need to reunite at 20 sessions.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I do not.
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. I think that everyone tonight, this midday kind of area is. All the Northerners are just like really licking their wounds and trying to get back on the road, and so that like they're not setting up the normal cook things. Everyone's just kind of like fend for yourselves, take rations to each other if you need to. But probably the night times that you guys travel, from here until the 36th, the meals are covered. So you really just need to worry about the meal that you have now, which Gabriel did do, I believe.
Yes.
Now, something I will say in terms of like transit from place to place. If there's anyone that needs help moving, Ruben's gonna try to help someone.
Oh, okay. Like give him a shoulder to lean on, sort of.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Doesn't really matter who it is,
Okay. Anything from Gabriel?
No, I will keep my night meditations, and I will forego the morning shaving ritual from now on.
Oh fuck! From now on,
man.
That's right.
Like just until the 36th, or are we talking like? I mean, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But for now, I don't do it anymore.
I'm gonna meet back up with you guys.
That's gonna be
Gabriel's
weird.
gonna look like Ted Kaczynski.
It's gonna be weird seeing him with like stubble and like a little bit of hair. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Imagine him with 3 days of not shaving his face.
I'm trying to become like have huge dreadlocks.
That's nuts. Actually, that's sweet. Okay. Then, and if there's anything else that pops up, like when I come back to you guys, you guys will next time I get back to you, you will be on the nighttime of the 36th, probably.
Gotcha.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and so when I get back to you, if there's anything that like came to your mind until that time, feel free to bring it up, and we will get into that. But for now, we're gonna come back over to Tamacti.
Okay.
Tamacti, you wake in the tree, roped into place with your handgun. Was it in your lap or in your hand?
It was in my hand, hence the name. A handgun.
Got you. Well, you have that in your hand when you awake, and you find yourself. It's a little bit of a chilly morning when you wake up, but it is now the morning of the 34th, and you are probably about 12 hours of flight, maybe 10 hours of flight actually, from the ships, and you weren't woken up by the marching of men from Morgong, so it's likely that they stopped to rest. I think you could surmise. Your
Sweet.
stomach grumbles as you wake, though.
Tamacti will pull out a bit of salted beef from his personal food stores, and will sort of just chew on that as he unties himself and then takes to the air.
It's kind of an interesting sight, like seeing Tamacti in my head, just sitting roped to a tree, like a seraph. I mean, if you add seraph to that, it makes it a lot more comical in my opinion, but like a seraph just roped into a tree, sleeping with his handgun in his hand, wakes up and starts eating some salted meat, and has like this long kind of bushy beard and kind of a little bit lengthy hair. Just looks like a hobo seraph up in a tree.
Yep, that is Tamacti's vibe.
With a fucking handgun.
Yeah. And then he's like, all right, well, back to flying.
He'll wash the pork or the beef down, whatever it is, whatever kind of, probably serpent meat, honestly, probably dried like serpent
Yeah, just some
meat.
that he kept on him.
Yeah, he'll wash that down with a swig of water,
Okay.
and then just to really get the blood flowing, he'll take just a nip from his flask to really, just kind of shock his senses awake.
Yeah.
And then he will he'll get going towards the boats.
Okay. Well, being in the air, and being that there are not many things that are actively hunting you in the air, and now that Astoria has daytime again, I'd say that the next 10 hours are pretty untreacherous and go by. I mean, they're probably pretty boring, but they're not dangerous.
Are they? So you wouldn't say they're quite pleasant?
I would say they're quite pleasant.
Ah, wonderful.
You have the nice sun on you. Like I said, it was a chilly morning, but the sun is on you now, and you're flying, and it's not storming or anything like that. It's like a pretty blue day actually, and you get to the point where you can see far out on the horizon the specks of ships hovering in front of what looks like an endless expanse of blue and silver.
Mm-hmm.
And the ships are just within reach now, maybe a couple hundred feet, or probably about 500-600 feet.
Okay.
And you're able to cross that distance without a problem if you want to.
Yeah. So I'm gonna dip back. I've been flying at about 100 feet. I'm gonna dip down to 50, and sort of circle over the ships before I land. Just kind of make sure everything's copacetic down there.
Okay. Things make a perception or an investigation. Either one is fine.
No. You said perception or what now?
Investigation. Either one. Oh, you could even make an insight if you wanted to. I could reason any three of those.
We'll do. I mean, perception and insight will be the same for me, but we'll do perception. I feel like that's the 13.
13. You see that there's nobody on top of the ships.
Okay.
That's all you see.
Roughly.
That's all I'm gonna give you on a 13. Sorry.
Roughly, what time is it?
It's let's see. You fly for 10 more hours. You woke up at morning. It is about 3 p.m.
That doesn't bode well. All right.
Sun is still up though, and it is blue sky day. So at least there's that.
I'm going to select out of them based on the figurehead what was once Thorgrim's sort of flagship, and the sea serpent, and fly down and sort of alight upon it, kind of dive bomb it, and just sort of testing and kind of relearning all of my old flight tricks, so to speak. I'll use the wings to kind of buffet the air and break my speed right at the end, and kind of alight upon the deck.
Got you.
Once I land, I am going to draw, sort of out of an abundance of caution again, just both of my pistols, and just kind of keep them at my side, not pointing them at anything, but just in case a target presents itself, I like to be able to shoot it immediately.
Okay. So I was putting up some music. So you said you land on the ship, right?
Sorry, say that again?
You said you land on the ship, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. On the Winter Maw, and you're on the top of it. You have your pistols ready. You hear what sounds like laughing below on the next deck down.
Okay. I will cautiously make my way down below that deck.
Okay. There are lanterns lit down there. It's light, so you really need to adjust your eyes too much. But it is going from sunny to like let's say like a dimly lit room, essentially, right? And you hear laughter and just talking, and it definitely sounds like Northmen for sure. So you just land on the ship, and you went down below deck, and you got down there, and it's like walking into a dimly lit room. It's not a huge adjustment for your eyes. It's not like going into pitch black, but it's lantern light in an otherwise pretty much pitch black sort of room, other than like a couple windows that let some light in. But you hear laughing, and as you're stepping down the stairs, I need you to make a stealth roll if you're trying to be cautious. If you're not trying to be cautious, then we'll go from there. But the stairs might creak if you're not careful.
Does the laughter sound insidious?
Insidious? You know, it's a simple thing, but I'm gonna make you roll an insight on it.
Okay. 23.
Ooh. The laughter sounds heartfelt. And I think it almost sounds familiar to you. It's definitely not the doll, but it does sound familiar to you.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't hearing, like, Morgong carving up the slaves below decks and laughing about it or something.
No, I would say it's, based on your roll, it's so familiar sounding that you can pinpoint that it's gotta be the laughter of one of the slaves that you had spoken to, like in all of your time, like traveling on the ships and feeding them and giving them water. You probably brought a smile to their face a couple times, and may have heard some laughter, or maybe they were joking down there, trying to make light of such a dark situation, and you just remember that laughter. Somebody from slave quarters down below.
Tamacti's still wary, given that he, saw Vasily carving stuff on the side of the ship when he left. So he found out was actually a real thing after he was too far away to do anything about it. He will go ahead and try and stealthily kind of investigate. So,
okay.
That's a natural one.
So many nat ones.
Right, my D&D session I was playing earlier tonight, I rolled I think 3 nat 20s all game, 2 of them one after another, so I was bound some bad luck this session.
Yeah. You hear the board creak, and all of a sudden the laughter goes silent.
It's me, Tamacti.
You hear some quiet sort of mumbling and whispering. Tamacti?
Yes.
Back from the raid already?
Of a sorts.
Stepping around so they can see you at the stairs is one of the notable slaves that you had encountered on the ship. Their names, the 3 that kind of really stood out to you, were Lanya, which was a female slave of average build, Sasha, a male slave of average build, and Belfour, a male slave of a bigger build. And this one that comes around the corner to see you is Lanya, the female slave. And the first thing that you notice, oddly enough, she's not wearing slave rags. She's actually wearing kind of like a pretty, I don't want to say evil, but like a pretty evil looking like half plate.
Oh God.
Like something that you would expect would be like a gift from an archdaemon or a daemon.
Oh no! What did Vasily do?
About to find out.
I sort of gesture around me. Where is everyone? The ship seemed empty.
We were, here. Come on, come here. She extends her arms out for a hug. It's good to see you back so soon.
I'd like to insight check this again.
Okay.
I'm getting some real sketchy vibes.
I'll allow it. Yeah,
15.
a 15. She seems genuine.
I
The half plate that she's wearing, it's like it has like a black sort of loincloth that comes
Sure.
down, and she's got like black sort of leather pants that come down to like similar blackish boots with buckles on them, and red caps at the end of the feet. And then like the plate from like the midsection up is half plate from midsection up is just, it's got kind of like the shoulder pauldrons come out to like horns on the sides, like come out to the sides into horn points, and the chest of it is kind of like the collarbone sections come down to a single sort of like I don't know how to describe it, man. Kind of tough. Actually, might have some art that I can just quickly toss up for it. Ooh, conveniently, I kind of do. So if you look in 2B, and I'll kind of describe it based on this, the half plate from there up is kind of what it looks like, where the shoulders kind of come out to points, and the gauntlets are very jagged with sort of like pointed elbows as well. And then the collarbones come down to like a protective sort of V over like the center of the chest, but like the ribs they look kind of exposed, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems genuine as she's like kind of stuttering for a moment and extending her arms, like welcoming you for a hug. Come on, I haven't had a chance to. You did so much for us. We appreciate it.
Where did you get that armor?
I'll tell you afterwards. Come here.
They had a revolution.
I step forward.
She steps the other half distance, if you would allow her, and to
Yeah.
goes to offer you a hug. Holds you there for a moment.
Okay.
Probably a longer moment than should. Doesn't say anything. Releases you. Come on. Come talk to the others. They're all going to be very excited to see you.
I walk down the stairs.
Oh, you don't need to. Oh, well, I guess, yeah, back up. Well, no, because she hugs you on the second floor. She
Oh,
doesn't
okay,
guide
so
you
she-
towards the second floor.
Oh, okay.
Or down to the bottom floor. I mean, she guides you to somewhere else on the second floor.
I see. All right.
She guides you to the back room where you guys had stayed.
Okay.
She places a hand on the door. Tamacti, we were freed by Thorgrim, remember?
Yes, I do.
And Rubin came to a couple of us before he left. He opened our eyes to a new faith.
Oh my.
He did what?
Please, I have an open mind. She opens the door, and you see sitting, like one of the slaves is on all fours, and they're like they're basically being a bench for Vasily to sit on, as he has his back to the window that he crawled out of that one time and said, "I'll be back."
Oh my
I come back.
fucking god.
And you see standing to each side of him, in similar half plate, Sasha, the average build male slave, and Belfour, the much larger build male slave. The ships are ours now, Tamacti. All of them.
Oh my.
We freed everyone.
And what
It's a
did
miracle.
What did you do with the Northmen?
Well, you see, the half plates weren't obtained from thin air without sacrifice.
So you sacrificed the lives of every single Northman on these ships to Tormach in exchange for your armor.
Not the Northmen on this ship.
On all of these ships.
Not on this ship. And the other merchant ship.
Where are the ones that were not on these two ships?
She... she goes to close the door that leads to Vasily. We'll be back. Leads you up the stairs if you would go with her.
Sure.
Walks you out onto the top of the ship at one of the railings. And before, like, she turns to look at you and then turns to look back at the water. And you see floating kind of in the distance away from the ships, drifted out to the water a little bit, a bunch of bodies with red sort of symbols carved into their backs. They have no torso clothing on.
Do I recognize the symbol as a symbol of Tormag?
You recognize them only as symbols in Abyssal.
I look at her.
I'd say you wouldn't be able to really read it. Just
Okay.
know that it's Abyssal, just because they're so far away, they've drifted out a little bit. They were monsters to us, Tamacti. You know this. They would beat us and starve us and not give us water, and for once, we're finally free. Aren't you happy? This is something great. The ships are ours, we can go wherever we want.
Do you realize, my child, what you have done? You have consigned your souls to a being so malignant and so evil. He betrayed one of his own chosen disciples. You were treated with barbarity. Yes, but it seems that in turn you yourself may have sunk to the same depths that your captors did. I look at her with genuine sadness in my eyes. This realm, I sort of gesture around, the one that all of you humans live on, is at risk. Everything that you know, everything that you may love, will simply cease to exist in very little amount of time. And the only hope that we had in stopping it was coming to these ships and having them sail south to meet the raiding party so that we could head to Talstar to stop it from happening.
And who's to say? Her look kind of tightens, her lips purse, her eyebrows furrow, and her jaw clenches. And who's to say that I am any worse than them? They raided, they slaughtered people. And you're saying that I have sunk to their levels? No.
You sacrificed them to a demon!
She turns her head just slightly off to the side, like just barely, like 15 degrees. Is a sacrifice any worse than slaughter of children, of women in the streets, in fathers in their homes in front of their children?
It is no better, it is no worse. It is the same. That is my point.
Yes, and you marched alongside them.
For a better outcome, for a better tomorrow. So that you and your children and your children's children could no longer live in fear and subjugation. You have ruined all of that!
Look, do you even know who you're talking to? We are the ones that move the ships. We have always been the ones that move the ships. We do not need the Northmen to tell us how to do it. Look, Tamacti, you have done much for us. And we are grateful beyond words. We will go where you want us to go. If we can help you, it's what we owe to you. And there are enough Northmen from these ships left that they can captain them for all I care. But we are not slaves now, and we will never be slaves again.
I had orchestrated a deal. For your help, you would have gone free anyway. You damned your souls for nothing.
And I'm supposed to see the future? We're supposed to take your word that the Northmen would have kept their side of the deal?
What?
How can you trust the
What
words of
did
them?
I ask for when I left? What did I beg you all for, plead you all for? I pleaded you all for your trust. I told you I would do everything I could to help you. And instead, you listened. I am at a loss for words, child.
So be it, Tamacti. Be at a loss for words.
Where
You're
are
still
the
there.
captive Northmen, the ones you left alive?
They're not captive. They're with us.
With you?
They're down below decks, sleeping.
I will speak to them at once.
Then go, speak to them. And I will be here when you're ready to speak calmly.
I give her one last look of a mix of almost like a like a sad parent, you know, someone that. And I guess I'll head below decks to the slave quarters. I assume the former slave quarters.
What was previously the slave quarters. I suppose you get down there. You pass a couple of their slaves on the way. They wave to you and welcome you with smiles. And as you get down to the bottom deck, You see that the benches that were there have been turned into kind of like makeshift beds. Not the comfiest thing, but like 2 benches, uprooted and put together and then nailed back down to the ground. So it's a twin size wide, and then given like a pillow and a blanket. And then there are a couple hammocks that are like hanging up a little bit higher up towards the top of the ceiling of this floor. It was already kind of a low ceiling to begin with, so it's a little bit cramped, but she wasn't lying. There are people down here sleeping. And you can clearly tell which ones are the Northmen in their northern leathers and armor.
I look around for the one who was left in charge of this ship when we left.
It was Borin, I believe.
Okay.
Or wait, just 1 second. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was Borin.
I will walk over and sort of gently shake him awake, holding my hand over his mouth.
You recognize that it was the man that had dumped out the bucket of water in front of the slaves and told you to.
Oh wait,
when he caught you downstairs.
He was the one left in charge?
Yeah, he was like the second in command of the Winter Maw, and so when Thorgrim left, he specifically said Borin. I remember it, and I have it written down here in my notes.
Okay, all right. And then I'll wake him up and hold a hand over his mouth, and then as long as he doesn't freak out, like he recognizes that it's me, I assume. Sort of
probably does.
I hold a finger to my lips,
and he like shakes awake, and at first he wants to move it, and then he like looks at you, and he gives you like kind of serious eyes at first, and then they like open up a little bit as he realizes who you are, and then they turn into a squint, and he's kind of like just trying to say something through your hand, muffled a little bit.
I cast the cantrip message.
Oh, okay, that's creative. I love that.
What is his name's Borin?
Borin.
Borin.
Boriyn.
Borin. What happened here? Explain to me in... Actually, let's see. I'm reading message. I can't see how many words it is allowed to have.
I don't know if they're allowed to respond with message, but does anyone know off the top of their head?
They hear the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. I know that sending the one for more long range is 25 words, but I'm not saying in the description for message.
No, but the thing that makes sending a spell is the massive unlimited distance. Meanwhile, this you have to be pretty much right next to the other person.
Yeah,
but I don't think there's a limit.
Message is a cantrip, right?
Yes,
message
it is.
is a cantrip.
We'll just go with no limit.
Okay, all right. What happened here? Explain to me, please. You may speak through your mind.
You hear it back in kind of a whisper, and he's still like naturally moving his mouth along with it, like and trying and like whispering into your hand that's covering his mouth, but you can understand what he's trying to say. There was a mutiny on the ships. The slaves wanted to be free. I saw Thorgrim's ways. I was wrong. I helped them, but now they seem to worship some sort of thing or doll. I don't know. I'm not sure what to believe now, but they promised that they would keep us around.
I reply back to him, or I send another message. The doll led the revolt.
He goes to shrug. I'm pretty sure.
Are there enough of you left to captain these ships?
A quick survey amongst the floor, and Borin kind of looks around. He looks like he's in thought for a moment. He nods. There should be. I think that there's 16 of us. There's 12 ships.
Very well. I will speak to Lanya, and then we will set sail. We have little time to lose. Morgong betrayed the rest of the clans. They are heading this way now to take control, no doubt, of all of the ships. We must sail south to an inlet and retrieve the rest of the clans. Plans have changed. Wake the men and tell them to prepare to journey.
The others are going to meet there, you said. Everyone's with them?
Yes. The rest of the clans will meet us there.
Right, then I'm ready.
Good. I will speak to Lanya now.
You, I think, probably a thought that's in your mind, and I think it's really good roleplay if you avoided to talk to him about it, but he didn't, it's a very vague thing that he asked, like the others are all with them,
All as if all alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I intentionally didn't mention.
Yeah, I think that's some awesome RP right there. Absolutely awesome. Okay, and so you leave him and you make your way back upstairs?
Mm-hmm.
When you make your way up there, it's still sunny. It's nearing 3:30 p.m. and Lanya has her arms crossed and is looking out to the water where the bodies are still floating there in the distance. There's what looks like 50 to 60 of them.
I've spoken to the Northmen. Seems they have not been mistreated. I was quick to judge, Lanya. I could not reasonably expect you all held in bondage for so long not to try and free yourselves, just as I could not expect a prisoner to not try and break themselves out of prison, or a trapped animal to try and gnaw its way out of the trap. You were doing what you are pre-programmed to do, your basic human instinct to survive. I understand that now. And so I am beseeching that same survival instinct now and asking you for your help. We need to sail south. I can direct you where the rest of the Northmen should be able to pinpoint the exact location. We need to pick up the rest of the clans, excluding Morgong, and we need to head to Talstar if we are to stop what is coming. Morgong have betrayed us. They are coming here now. They will try and slaughter everyone. We need to leave.
Tamacti, you could have just said, we have to go. I'm with you. I will always be by your side.
Do you follow Vasily, the Wacial kind? Is he your new leader?
Baldwin has told us many ways to make power, and has given us the knowledge that we need to deliver us the tools that helped us free ourselves. Do I follow him? Not quite. But do I believe in all that he says in his words? He has not given me a reason to believe that he lies yet. Did you call him Vasily?
Yes, the Northmen on the ship believed him to be a simple doll, a good luck charm. Tamacti laughs at the irony.
No. Baldwin is something much greater.
I am well aware of what he is, Lanya.
Good. I will tell the others. Prepare the ships to move. I'm sure everyone will be on board. We all know about you. We've told the other slaves from the other ships. They know too. And they're grateful for everything. From all three of you. The food, the drink. Fighting for us without the three of you.
There
So
is just one last thing, Lanya, I believe that you should be aware of.
yes, anything.
The entity that enabled you to do this thing, named Tormach, I believe, is who you swore your allegiance to. He and his kind are the eternal and sworn enemies of my kind and what I am. Not 3 days ago, one of Tormach's chosen messengers attempted to kill me and my friends.
She puts up a hand. Tamacti, I think that you're mistaken. I did not swear allegiance to any figure. These were gifts from Baldwin. He just told us what we needed to do.
I see. Thank you for making it clear to me, Lanya. I was
course.
confused.
Of course, Tamacti.
Come here. And I open my arms for a hug.
She accepts it and is very glad to have smoothed things out a bit. I think no insight is necessary on that one.
And as she's sort of looking, away from me, and Tamacti gazes at the floating mass of bodies, the camera would pan down and see his eyes grow hard and cold.
Oh, that's awesome.
Out of slavery and right back into it. Just a different shape.
Are you good for a time skip?
That
Do you have anything
fucking
else?
doll! God damn it!
I can't believe Tamaki's got a little army of maniac zealots now.
I cannot believe that I could have nipped this in the fucking bud weeks ago if I hadn't. I just literally thought you were joking when you said that.
No. We
I'm
literally
so pissed.
we said a million times he was not doing. He said it himself.
I would have walked back there and blown his fucking head off.
Well, it's never too late. You better do it because I will split it in half.
All right.
This is so awesome.
Yeah.
I love this campaign, man.
And if your little girl tries to stop me, I will split her too.
Okay, so are you comfortable with the time skip, or is there anything else you kind of want to go about? My sort of autopilot, just so that you know, and if there's anything you would interject on, is Baldwin, as you now know him as, is just kind of like in his quote unquote throne in that back room, and and you see slaves coming and going, free slaves coming and going from there and like switching spots as his like chair, basically. But everyone seems pretty comfortable. Like rations were left for them and the people that were meant to watch them, and so they have enough food to get all the way down to Castelor, probably, or south of Castelor. And Baldwin stays confined to that room and would not harass you in any way or even try and speak to you. And all the slaves are just being led by their new quote unquote captains of these ships that are just the Northmen from the Winter Maw and the Sea Serpent, just spread out as like one or two across each ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything's kind of like honestly pretty not like gloomy or not quite cheerful, but like a middle ground between neutral and good. Like the spirits are fairly high.
Sure.
So you're comfortable with the time skip on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then let's see here. For sake of narrative, I know it's a little bit longer than 3 days, but we're gonna say winds are favorable, and I think that you would get down there to that pocket probably in the morning of the 37th, which would mean that Rubin and Gabriel and the rest of the Northerners get to that pocket the night of the 36th. They would probably sleep over that night and then see you on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
That cool with both parties?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Well, something I would like to do, which doesn't
Of
have
course.
to be a whole icy interaction. As we're walking sometime, I just want to try and cast like a random spell. Like, it doesn't even have to do anything.
Nothing happens.
Gotcha. Fuck.
Yeah.
Now, an out of character question: do my ranger spells or
Ranger
any
stuff
feat
still
spells?
works. Yeah, your
Okay.
ranger stuff still works. But
Okay.
your paladin stuff is all just no-go for now.
Gotcha. Understood.
So
Yeah,
I think
that's
some
all I wanted to do.
interesting RP is going to come from that in the future. So it's been a long 3 days of travel for both Gabriel and Rubin, and they've been keeping a pretty strong pace. You guys are in fairly good shape. I think that you probably have no problem keeping up.
Yeah,
but
I'm
like
good.
the Northmen as a whole are just shit's exhausting, man. They're exhausted. And Cover just messaged me. I'm gonna say it out loud, Cover. He said, "I'm so fucking torn." I love that so much.
He told me the same thing. I was about to type to him, "Don't worry, bro. I will solve this issue for you."
I think so. You guys get there. It's the night of the 36th, and it's been a long day of travel. You're probably fairly tired. Is there anything that you do before you go to bed? And if you meditate, that is something I would like to make IC again, Gabriel.
Sure thing. I will.
Okay. What about Rubin? Anything that he does? Just so I have an idea.
No, he's kind of just moping.
Is he
Sticking
still
by
wearing
Gabriel.
his helmet with all these abyssal symbols just kind of carved into it?
he's
The
just
helmet's been with him for a while. That's got some history now.
He's just been carrying it alongside him. He's not wearing it right now.
Oh man.
You know.
That's sad to see, but I think that's awesome, like RP wise. Okay, so Gabriel goes into his meditation, probably cross-legged, hands on his knees, like always. Okay, you find yourself in a different sort of clearing this time. Once all the sound around you, the gentle talking and laughter and spirits are starting to rise again. People are trying to make the most of the situation, but it all sort of fades into the background, into nothingness, into silence, and your eyes, you're no longer looking at your eyelids. They turn from that kind of like you can see through your eyelids, right? They turn from that back into the darkness of nothingness as you enter your mind in complete bliss and quiet emptiness. And then fading into vision this time, you find yourself, oddly enough, back in that place in the Grove Maze where you were when it all started. And it's like the maze around you, it's just like a plain, but foliage starts to sprout up, and some foliage goes back down slowly and disappears, replacing into other spots further away. And the Grove Maze is just always changing. It's a place where people get lost on expeditions, and the knights of the Charnel Kingdom that are swore to protect the borders and wherever else they protect their all these different knight chapters that have sworn different oaths. Some of them have sworn to protect the Grove Maze, and even they get lost. It's just such a treacherous and confusing place, and you don't know where you are in the Grove Maze or how you got there, but you're there, and you can see the figure of a werewolf, this time hunched down over what looks like the corpse of a deer, and their fur is a dark brownish black, like a really dark brown, the kind of dark brown that looks black. And this time you recognize that a different moon is up. It's not Acreon this time, it's Desirion, the other blue twin of the sky. And this wolf is just like fur around its mouth, matted with blood, and oily looking and reflective of the blue light coming down. And it doesn't notice you, doesn't seem to pay any attention to you.
I will make my way towards him or her.
Okay.
Not making an effort to be quiet.
Okay, then I'd say you probably step on a twig and it snaps, and you see them quickly like turn over to look at you, and their eyes are just like amber, glowing in the night, a gentle glow, not like a piercing glow, but like enough to be seen in the dark. And
I
it looks
simply
at you
wave my hand.
It looks at you for maybe 3-4 seconds, and goes to turn back to the meal. If you'd like to kind of get some insight on the kind of vibe of it, you can roll an insight. You're more than welcome.
Sure, why not?
An 18. You swear that the look on its face as it looks at you and then kind of like relaxes a little bit, its muscles release the tension and it goes back to eating. It was almost like an ashamed sort of expression, like there was a shame that you had seen it doing this.
All right, I will continue approaching then. If it's gone back to eating,
it has.
I'll get as close as I can, unless it stops me.
It doesn't. You hear just wet squelching and chewing and tearing as you approach it.
I kind of kneel down next to the body, maybe like a foot or two away.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you ashamed?
It side-eyes you, turning its head just gently to the side so that it can side-eye you. And then goes back to look at the meal, but doesn't proceed to continue eating it.
I should have told you. I should have been better to you.
I nod. Perhaps. It matters not now. What is done is done. I am glad to learn you still live.
I'm sorry this happened to you.
Kinda look at my hands. Do not be. I believe it will become a necessary evil in the coming days.
An evil, yes. Necessary. We can only hope not.
Well, at least to do what must be done. Once all of this is over, I can look into ridding myself, if that is even possible. If not, then I will learn to live with it, as you have. As many others have before you or I, and many will in the future.
If you find a way to cure it, to remove it, please help me.
Always. Are you in Talastar with the others? What happened after you left me?
It's difficult to remember. I'm in a cage. A cell. I'm not sure where. And I don't know for how long. I was in the mountains. Near Burrowfell Mines. We were attacked. Captured. I was with some others. Our kind. It's a blur.
Were you with the ghost?
He goes back to side-eyeing you. There's a pause for a moment.
He spoke to me.
He nods slowly once.
I can speak to him like I am speaking to you.
He draws in a breath through his nose.
Thank you for having them spare me.
Anything for you, Gabriel. You were like a son to me.
I nod. And you a father, so I will help you. I am convinced you are in Talastar. And if not, then I will scour the rest of this land to find you. And then, we can find a cure together. I have some friends, much more knowledgeable than either of us in these things.
There's a pause.
Are you hungry?
I nod.
It's a curse, yes, but for now, one that we must deal with. Please, join me.
I stand up, now only realizing that this whole time I was in werewolf form. And I begin to eat. with him.
Okay, and as you like tear free the first chunk, and there's this feeling of euphoria that washes over you, and your eyes sort of like gently close while you're eating, and it's just like the taste of raw meat, like a steak. And
Damn, that sounds good.
and your eyes drift close as you realize it's been a while since you've had this. It's been a couple weeks, a few weeks now. Shit, it's been almost 25 days now since you've last eaten deer meat in your werewolf form, and as you're chewing, there's a crunch of bone in your mouth, and you wake up to the sound of a twig snapping not far from you. It's now morning time. You're with the Northmen.
Kind of wake up in a not usually one to be startled in my sleep, but it's been getting more and more in these past few days.
Mm-hmm.
Since apparently we werewolves have dream communication powers now. This is sick. I get up and quickly start packing my stuff.
Okay. And the individual that snapped a twig next to you, is Rubin sleeping anywhere near Gabriel?
Yeah, probably like right beside him. Not
Okay.
like against him, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The figure that snaps the twig says to both of you, and it is Tabe. Hey, wake up! The
Aye,
ships,
boy.
look! And he points out on the horizon, and past the lapping waves in the water, on the horizon, where the sun is still rising to the east, you see the ships coming in.
I will be damned. He actually did it.
Tamacti made it. And we pull away to Tamacti, who messaged me saying at some point during this travel, you would like to commune or try to commune with Moriel. And as a seraph of Moriel, I would say that's totally something that he can RP out. So where are you on the ship? Which day is it? Is it when you're nearing them or when you're just now leaving? Let's hear all that.
How long did it take us to out the coast? You said 3 days, right?
Yeah, like about 3 whole days.
Okay.
You're arriving on the morning of the 27th, or 37th, I mean.
All right, then on the morning of the 36th, I would like to... These ships have crow's nests, yes?
They do, yes.
I would like to fly up to the crow's nest of the sea serpent
Okay.
and sort of take a moment to take in the sunrise. And then if there's room to do so, kind of sit down in like a folded position, pretzel style, as the kids say these days.
Okay.
I don't know if they call it that anymore. I did when I was a kid.
I did when I was a kid too.
All right, cool. And place my hands sort of palms flat, or Tamacti will place his palms flat rather on the on his thighs. Lord, I reach out to you, not asking necessarily for guidance, but just for a conversation. I have much to think through, and your input would be of much help if you can provide it at this time.
As you finish speaking, there's an odd pause. Like the wind it's silent for a moment. Like you could hear the lapping waves against the ship, and all of a sudden it kind of goes silent. And then all you hear is the whistle of the wind through the crow's nest, like splitting around the mast, and gently blowing your hair. And a gull flies over, kind of squawking once, and lands on the lip of the crow's nest. And it looks down to you, and it turns its head to the side.
Hello there.
Nothing happens.
Are you a messenger of sorts, little one?
It sprawls its wings out once, hops down onto the floor of the crow's nest, and comes over and turns its head again to the opposite side, looking at you. Lets out a squawk.
Tamacti will reach into his bag and pull out a bit of hardtack, and he'll crumble it up in the palm of his hand and hold it out for the gull.
The gull takes it in a snap and raises its head up to kind of like do that thing that birds do when they swallow, where they like kind of flick their head back, sort of. And it swallows up the piece of tack before like sort of waddling its way around to the opposite side of the mast, where the mast comes through the center of the crow's nest, you know. and it goes around to the opposite side that you're on and starts pecking at the wood of the crow's nest mast.
Tamacti will let out a sigh. Perhaps you will listen to my troubles then, little one. The slaves, or the former slaves, are not the problem. Not really. They are still slaves of a sort, being manipulated by a different master. I firmly believe that Weshelkind, whatever his real name was able to commune with Tormach somehow. Rubin's father, no doubt, sowed the seeds for that destruction before he was spirited away. He is the one controlling them. He is, I believe, now an agent of Tormach of sorts. Perhaps this was a one-time exchange, but I doubt it. But I fear for what will happen when we reach the shores and the clans discover what happened to their friends and family that were left to guard the boats. I cannot say that were I in their shoes, I would not have done the same thing the slaves did. I cannot know what I would do, just as they could not know what I was doing. But I fear that perhaps they have crossed a point of which there is no hope of returning. Tamacti would let out sort of just a long sigh and turn to look to see if the gull is even still there.
The gull is, and as you turn to look around the mast, it stops pecking at the mast, and it turns its head to look at you, and it squawks once, pecks twice at the floor of the crow's nest, and lets out its wings before, like, flapping up to the edge of the crow's nest, and it gives you one more look, lets out one more squawk, and sails off back into the expanse above the sea.
Would that I could join you, little one. Would that I could join you.
You notice that there are some like wood shavings on the floor there, on the opposite side of the mast, where kind of like near where it was standing.
Okay, I'll sort of get up and maneuver myself around to look at these wood shavings.
As you look at the other side of the mast, you see a very crudely pecked and etched symbol of Moriel.
All right.
And as the ships make their way to the meeting point, coming into land, and a distinct sort of, I think there's like a unison sort of like confused look and gasp.
I would like to interject if I could.
Yes, of course.
Before they reach the shore, probably we'll say an hour before they would not dock, but I guess beach themselves.
Yeah.
I'm going to head down and make it clear that I'm going to go to shore to prepare everyone for our arrival. Now,
Okay.
I suppose I'll tell that to Lanya.
By all means, Tamacti, go ahead. I'll be here. We'll meet you there.
I'll make sure the clans are prepared to help you beach the ships. I don't think you have enough trained people to do that on your own. No offense.
We'll see.
Sure. I give her one last kind of smile.
Mm-hmm. She returns it.
And then I will take to the skies and fly to the inlet.
Okay. Then, seeing the ships on the horizon, both Gabriel and Rubin, and Tabe has just woken you up. That is when Tamacti, you are about 100 feet away from them and in the air. A couple of Northmen notice you and they look up and they're sort of cheering. Glad to see the ships on the horizon, glad to see you back and that you made it. We're, people have been spreading word that this is the plan, and so people are generally familiar with like, oh, okay, well, Tamacti went off to do this? Oh, wow. And so there's some cheering and stuff like that. And I guess the three of you are reunited. Do you just like land next to them, or like do you look for anyone specific? Or
I'm going to land in, we'll say it like sort of the center of the camp, and immediately start kind of turning around. I need to see the leaders of the clans now.
I think that that's a really cool image
And you're gonna end the session on it.
to end this
Really
session.
cool image to end the session on.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, wow.
They're getting so predictable. God damn it.
You know, that's a really great image. Let's pause and think about that.
For a week.
Until
2
next
weeks.
time, guys. Thanks for listening. And
No, that was a good session. I had a man. There's some stuff for me to think on. I kind of think I know what's gonna happen when the leaders of the clans kind of gather in
again.
and I think that I know how the Northmen are gonna react to seeing the slaves all over the tops of these ships and very few of their people on them. I'm really excited to see how next session starts. So with that, thank you, listeners, for being here. If you enjoyed what you heard, and I really hope you did because I know I did, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you like what you heard, give us a review or a thumbs up on whatever platform you're listening to us on. It would go a long way to help support us and get the word of our podcast out there, and give us a thumbs up to know that we're doing something right. And we would like to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters as well. So we would like to take a moment to thank our party fiends, Xeno and Stags. We'd like to take a moment to thank our party monsters, Rookshaw, Cypher, and Happy Phoenix. We'd like to thank our party person, Hop, and we'd like to thank our party lurkers, Windowman, Valentine, and Blundy. They're the people that have been supporting our giveaways, our fresh NPC art, our character art, and our new animated logo that we had done about a month ago. And there's plenty of more stuff to come with the generous funding of them. We'd also like to take a moment to shout out one of them who has given us a specific thing that they would like us to say, if Rubin could do that really quick.
Born to shit. Forced to wipe.
Yes, born to shit, forced to wipe. I think that's a good note to end on. If you want to hang out with us, become a friend of the podcast, ask us questions, anything that you have, talk about anything related to the podcast and the characters or NPCs or the lore with any of our other fans, you should be able to find links to all of our social media that we've previously mentioned and our Discord in the description of this episode. So check out that link tree and come join us. As always, never split the party. Thanks for being here. Catch you next time.